What's going on, guys? Matt Manduk here, and it's another Drones Over in an over-the-road series, which I'm calling it Drones Over Arkansas because of a guy named Matt Miller, who I met through doing the Walmart account that I was on with Werner. I guess that's almost 2 years ago, but I'm still friends with him on Facebook. He has a channel called Drones Over Arkansas, and I wouldn't just name any video Drones Over Arkansas, except it is my drone over a portion of Arkansas. This is Forest City, Arkansas, and you can see I'm at the rest stop. You could see Casper as I was lifting off. Part of that was because he thought when I went outside that I wanted to go outside with him, and I did after I landed the drone. But this rest area is fairly nice. You can see it's very forested, and it's given a lot of places for me to let Casper run, which is nice since I'm on reset. However, me getting here was not ideal. I spent the last 2 hours of my night finding this spot, and it was a shitty spot. And in fact, I'm parked right next to a no parking sign, but I don't see that being a problem. As you can see, there are other trucks that are parked on the dirt, so it is what it is. But as I got up in the air, I could see that water over there, and I expected there was a bunch of water around me because it is very, very humid outside. But part of that's Arkansas is nice and wooded. Yes, there's a lot of farmland in Arkansas, but Arkansas is gorgeous, and I'm just a little bit west of Little Rock now. I know a lot of people see this as a flyby state, but it's actually a very beautiful state, and it is sort of an introduction to the East Coast as you're driving east, or vice versa. If you're driving west, it is an introduction to the West because of the way it looks. Now, I was sort of interested in that island because you can see like the depth of the water and how like it's higher in other places. And then I started getting this weird idea about trying to get close to the edge of the water to see if I could zoom in and see any frogs. But that idea kind of went out the window as I got lower. The drone started telling me you're too far away to be doing all that fancy stuff. So I didn't. I'm about 400 feet in the air now, so it's not like I'm anywhere near that. But because I am behind trees, actually to the right side of this video now, it does sort of make sense that maybe I'm not getting the best reception. And then I do see that water on the other side, and you can tell by the shapes of these waters that they're all man-made, and they're for irrigation purposes of the crops, but they're still sort of a interesting thing to look at, a hell of a lot more interesting than the tops of trees that we're looking at now, even though the trees are fairly interesting because you can see the leaves and the different detail, and it just looks like a bunch of broccoli from the top of it. And I've been eating a lot of broccoli lately because my doctor says that I'm low on potassium, and I find that weird that there's not enough potassium in my bloodstream because I actually eat quite a bit of vegetables and stuff, and I do eat fairly healthy on the road. Now, there's another pond to your left in the distance. Now, I've realized that the bigger one to the right, that's too far away, and I'm not going to be able to get to it, but the pond to the left I actually do get to. You can see that the farmlands, I don't know what they're growing there, but it must be something, and it wouldn't be nothing, right? Like if you had own farmland, you'd have to grow something, but it doesn't look like it's growing very well. But that's not the fault of the weather by any means, because there's plenty of water around, and the water would be used to spray the crop, and then it resettles into the ground, goes back to the water, and there's plenty of storms that run through here anyway. It is super humid here, like, I don't know, 98 degrees and 88% humidity, which I'm kind of used to in New Jersey, but it's a little much when you go outside. It's still better than the 110 that it was in Phoenix, and the 115 that it was in Las Vegas, and the 109 that it was in Spokane, and the 100 that it was in Portland. Like, it's just been ridiculously hot. And that's I show that other pond because ponds are fairly interesting, and then I am looking at the overpass thinking, wow, they look like toys from up here. And give it a little bit of credit to that house. I don't blame them for having an in-ground pool, but it looks like they got it pretty well made out, and having some trees in the back to actually block the highway sounds probably fairly nice. They got a decent sized driveway, a hell of a lot better than their neighbor from what I can see. And then, well, at this point I am starting to make my way back. This is not the longest of my drone flight videos, but as you can see, it is a very beautiful view. It's not hilly like you see in other places, but there are some hills in this state. It's just the highways don't tend to run straight through the most beautiful parts of the state, because who wants to tear up the most beautiful part to run a highway? Now, in some cases like Washington and Oregon and California, you don't have much of a choice, because the stuff that it runs through is the most beautiful parts of the state, and it's nice that the area that they run it through doesn't have a whole lot of people. But in this case, you know, Arkansas don't have a whole lot of people anyway. But I do like this state. It's just not one of my favorites when it comes down to things, and I've never really looked into all the laws of it, but maybe I should, because I imagine property values here are a lot lower than some of the other places that I look, because the other places I look, I'm looking because of low cost of living, and that's what everybody else looks at them for. It's what it is. And then I start getting this idea that I can like follow the on-ramp in and go under the trees, and I do take a lot of time with this, because I'm like trying to line it up, and I'm trying to line it up so that I can see, and you can see how there's space underneath the tree. Well, that is a decent amount of space, because like the trucks don't hit it as they're going under, but I'm still nervous about it, and a lot of that's because I'm so far away from me, I can't actually tell how close I am to the trees, especially on the other side of the tree where you don't know if there's some branches that reach out, and it's hard to tell how far you are from the things while you're flying it on film. They're like, you know, while I'm flying it, I can see exactly what you can see, and that's like not really enough, because you don't see the propellers, and the propellers reach out quite a bit further than the camera, and then I don't really know, like I'm not zoomed in at all, but that doesn't mean that the camera isn't cropping itself so you don't see the propellers or whatever, so then that is sort of zoomed in. But I opt not to go under, and I do go over a little quicker, and as you can see, my truck there, like I said, I'm parked next to a no parking sign, but there's no reason why I can't park there for the look of it, right? And it all makes sense, and you can see that other people have. You can also see me, because I'm wearing that green shirt that says fart squirrel, and it shows a skunk, because that fits with me so well, and the way I'm standing there, it almost looks like I have hair, but that's actually the fender mirror. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. You know I wouldn't do this without you. I'll see you, my friends, in my next video.